When Iran was struck, there was not much news. But as soon as, they was like, Israel, what's up? Israel, what's
Oh,
up?
yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
that's when I started seeing all of my
The world
favorite
leaders.
pages cover it and saying that Israel was attacked, all that kind of stuff. And I was just like, dang, that's so crazy why they haven't. And I went to go read articles and they're not talking about how this started.
Not only did Israel strike Iran in Damascus, they also damaged Canada's consulate that was right next door. But
Oh,
like
wow.
no Canadian politicians spoke about it. They weren't like, we strongly
Wow.
condemned Israel damaging one of our embassies. Nothing, just radio silence
Wow.
until
You
you
see?
just said. Then once the attack happened on Israel, all of a sudden all the politicians like in tow were like, we strongly condemn this attack. It's horrifying. Horrible.
Yeah, and that's all you're hearing. That's all you're seeing. Like I said, Shade Room. Just I feel like I'm always there. For what reason? Because it's always people are sending me stuff from there, but that ain't why. But even there, you think that when they're covering this, when they're talking about this, they're going to cover it correctly, and it was very one-sided. And I went to other pages, even some mainstream news media pages, and they were doing the same thing. It was very much one-sided, and I looked a couple of days prior, somewhere in there, if they had any any news of the Iran strikes, and there was just nothing. So I had to get that from the streets.
The one-sidedness is deliberate. There was a report from The Intercept about the New York Times, how they have instructed their international editors to not use words like genocide, ethnic cleansing. I think they're not allowed to say occupied territories. I think they can't even say Palestine, or they should use it as little as possible. Just straight up bias. And you can already tell that was the case just by looking at it. But then The Intercept also did a really good qualitative analysis of, I think, more than 1,000 articles from the New York Times, other really big outlets, the Washington Post, and the language that they used when they talked about Palestinian deaths versus Israeli deaths was completely different, right? Like when they talked about Israeli deaths, it was much more emotive words and whatnot. But when they talked about Palestinians, it was more vague. It's like, okay, strike kills Palestinians. They don't say who. It's so frustrating because it kind of feels like we're being gaslit, and they think that they're fooling us, but they're not. Like I feel like everybody kind of sees through it. And yeah, just it's really depressing to see.
It is. No, it's depressing, but it's also, it's alarming that it's not shocking, but it just sucks that they are muting the actual news, like removing it and making people just go with this one storyline, which is not something that is new. We've seen this the way they've been covering, with Gaza and Israel and all this other stuff. That's how they were covering it before. That's how they cover other stuff. But now we're privy to it, right? We can see, we can get people who are on the ground, who can actually have these conversations, in the spaces like, unfortunately, but Twitter, all these other places where we can get video, we can get sound, we can get those journalists who are, who aren't allowed to tell their stories on mainstream media. They can come and tell us what's actually happening, and that's where I'm been getting my stories from. The pages that have the most followers for specifically like the Black community, they're gonna go with this one-sidedness because this is where they need to go. So it bothers me that the people who don't go to the news, they come here, they're gonna get this one-sided story. So all of them are saying, now why they going over there striking Israel? And people are saying like, in the comment section, some people are like, but do you guys know that they struck Iran first? And they're saying that's not true. Then a whole bunch of people from Israel now in the Shade Room page saying, that is not true. Israel has been attacked.
Really?
Always, yes.
Oh,
yes. And I'm like, see, now we inviting people from around the way, and that they fighting us, and it's terrible because now they're giving misinformation. They're fighting. It's just all. This is what misinformation brings. It's just nobody. Right. It's like, no one has the truth, yet the truth is right there. Somebody tells them this is the truth, and they're like, that's not true. That's not true. I live in Israel, and this is what it's, and I'm like, see, this is the problem. Israel they're so powerful that people really are going to believe that they're the ones that were struck first, and now they have to strike back, and now another war is going to happen, or whatever the case may be. And this is because Israel must protect themselves. But you're not hearing that Iran is protecting themselves. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Well, and what Iran did is, they gave them advanced notification. They sent slower, like they didn't use cruiser
target
missiles,
military locations.
Right.
It was
Targeted
military location.
They like you could tell that they did it because they had to respond for purposes of domestic legitimacy. Say we're strong, let everyone know we did what we needed to do. We defended ourselves. And then as soon as that happened, they're like, we're done. We consider this concluded. But Israel, the goal is to try to provoke another response or as many responses as they can, because if they were able to pull the United States into a broader regional war, that would really be beneficial for Netanyahu. It wouldn't be beneficial for anyone else. But like, so long as there's this predicament, like he's not gonna call for an election. He's not like he's gonna be in power because of this war. So he has an interest to prolong it as long as possible, stay in Gaza as long as possible. It's just really, it's such a dark time. And the fact that like our government is just cool with this, the one of the horrible like long-term consequences of this is that, I mean, already international law wasn't necessarily, people choose to, abide by it. When I say people, I mean countries. They choose to abide by it when they want to and then disregard it when they don't. But I mean, this is going to be like really damaging to international law. The United States is going to have no legitimacy on the world stage because, I mean, you just a couple of years ago, you were talking about international law and how, you can't use starvation as a weapon of war and you can't be, just taking over territory to Russia. But when it comes to Israel, no, actually, it's fine. They're everything is copacetic.
The goalpost always moves for certain countries, and that's
exactly.
We see that all the time. They switch the language. They'll switch policy so quick. Policy that been stuck some kind of way, they'll switch it quick just so they can apply and damage and say this is policy and this is why, and this to make excuses, and we see that very often. But that's why I think it's important for people to have these conversations, and the people who are on the ground to, if they can, continue to push the truth out, because we're going to constantly get from United States will look at us in the eye and just lie and tell us to go with it. And so
and like I remember during the Trump administration, Democrats talking about how dangerous Trump was on the international stage because he doesn't uphold international law or international norms. And now what? Does that none of that stuff matter anymore? Does the respect of the U.S. internationally not matter anymore? Like, exactly.
CNN's reporting on it too, by the way. It's not just ABC anymore.
Oh, CNN now too. So it's okay. Oh, they're trying every single time it's close to the weekend. Israel's like, you were gonna. Well, I guess last time that was when Iran struck it, but it's like each weekend we have to deal with like an international crisis. Like, let's get one weekend where we're okay, where we're not.
I'm seeing from, this is Telesur saying it's Iran, Syria, and Iraq. We're all hit.
Don't surprise me. Americans, don't go to war. Don't join in, please.
Now America don't stay out of nobody's.
Don't you have enough problem?
They will literally hop on. Israel said, "What? Okay, yeah." And it sucks. It sucks that it's like that. And then here, I hope, I pray that we don't wake up tomorrow and it's the whole, America is getting ready to just, put themselves in people's business.
It moves so fast. People just online too. Everyone just all of a sudden like, wait, are you a traitor? Are you a traitor to the cause? Come on. This is like, it's happening. We're doing this. Oh dear God.
Oh yeah. It's hard to imagine Joe Biden winning an election, by the way, if we go to war.
It's getting worse. If he
It's over. It's over.
No, war with Iran means he's toast.
And then I also mentioned this on my stream the other night. We were sold. Obviously I knew that Biden would be bad on foreign policy, but
he was good. He lowered drone strikes. He got out of Afghanistan. Drone strikes went like this. For a while, that was my argument. I was like,
that was surprising. But my thing is, the whole selling point to defeat Trump is that he's going to somehow, with his foolishness and his wild card antics, get us into a war. But that's what's going on right now. Joe Biden, because he refuses to stand up to Israel and he wants to stay lock and step with Israel and refuses to draw any red lines and put any money where his mouth is, he's going to end up getting us into a war. And at that point, who fucking cares? To me, there is no big difference then between Donald Trump and Joe Biden when it comes to foreign policy. Who gives a fuck if Trump bumblefucks his way and slips on a banana peel into war, and Joe Biden just follows Israel into war? It's the same shit. We get war. I mean,
I don't care who the president is, you get war. And people, yeah, if Joe Biden decides to join in, it's done. We already, or people really did, like, it really affected him, with how he handled Gaza and how people view him and how people really pulled their votes to show him something what that would look like. And it did something. So let this happen. People are really going to look at him like, really? Like, what? Israel has that much power that you can't, y'all, the administration, can't really come together and really just be like, let's not, we're going to sit this out. But we already know, like, I already see how this could go. And I can see how people on the right are going to take it. They're going to say, God bless Israel, and forget about everybody else. And anybody else, we already know. Those countries, they already have them tagged historically as terrorists. So we already know how that's going to go, what it's going to look like, on social media, and the talking points that are going to come out, and how we need to support, pray for, and supply weapons to Israel. Like, I hope that it doesn't go that way, but this is literally textbook. So
I mean, currently in Congress, they're trying to give more money to Israel. The foreign aid package includes Ukraine, Taiwan, some aid money to Gaza, and of course, lots of money to Israel. So it's
meanwhile,
crazy.
We hungry over here. We got student loans. People can't afford housing. Food is hot, but they're gonna go ahead and start giving people weapons and giving them money and all kinds of stuff to kill people.
Yeah. It's really fucked up. And we've got like what is it? So it's April. Election is, it's far away, but it's not too far away when you think about it. He's still losing in swing states. Like, nationally, he's ticking up in the polls, but that doesn't matter. Winning the popular vote is not how he becomes president again. So he's going to lose. And I think that he could still win if he were to immediately stop supporting Israel, cut off weapons, but he's just not willing to do that. He is literally willing to throw away his re-election chances and the country just to support this fascist in Israel. And Netanyahu wants him to lose, so I just
and then he's gonna put out a TikTok video tomorrow, and to try. This is literally this is what we see. I hate that this is happening because and the way again that it's being publicized is not like if I would have stuck with not knowing and not going to go get the information and not reading up on what actually happened, I would have really been like, damn, they really went out there and bombed Israel. Like, now why? Now you see what I'm saying? So people are going to really, I'm telling you, we're going to see an influx of that as this story continues to develop. The talking points that they had last year when it came to Gaza, we're going to see that coming up, and it's going to it's going to be, I hate it. When will it stop? I don't know, but America is definitely, I don't see America not getting involved in some type of way. So.
And there's going to be, you're right, Rebecca, there's going to be spin.
It easily can stop if the United States of America just said, stop it to Israel, but they won't do it. Like, it's that simple. It's that simple.